welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen to sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Matt, I'm playing a Dealer's Choice that I'm using to continue my exploration of the various Eldrazi decks that now exist in Legacy and Modern. Last week on the channel, I played Modern Eldrazi Ramp that just kind of skipped Thought-Knot Seer, skipped Fleshraker, that Heralds, went all the way up to playing 4 copies of Emrakul the Promised End. I didn't really like that deck very much. A week or two before that, I played what I called Eldrazi Aggro in Legacy, a deck that I actually liked a lot. And I had some comments on that video saying, isn't this more of a mid-range deck? And it was like a mono-green deck that had some stuff low on the curve, but it was mostly trying to Myco-Spawn and Thought-Knot Seer to win. And now, weeks later, as the technology has advanced, I think this is properly an Eldrazi Aggro deck, and it would be hard to call it anything else. 4 copies of it that heralds the end, and 4 copies of Glaring Fleshraker. This is the combo, by the way. Fleshraker just pumping out bodies and pinging for damage as you cast spells naturally. It that heralds the end, turning those bodies into actual combat objects. Insane. And reducing a thing that costs 7 might come up now and then. There's Null Drifters and Kozilek's commands in the deck. There's a few ways that might matter, but really buffing the spawns is what we're looking for out of that. Eldrazi Linebreaker is the unit that makes this deck work. 3 mana, trample, 3/3. Beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets haste and plus X plus O until end of turn, where X is the number of Eldrazi you control. Remember Reality Smasher? As far as I'm concerned, the first round of mid-size Eldrazi, Thought-Knot Seer and Reality Smasher, were the ones that made that a deck. Reality Smasher not appearing in any of these decks, because instead of 5, you could spend 3 on it. Smasher is a 5/5 trample for 5, and it has kind of a pseudo-ward ability. This is a 4/3 trample for 3. And if you have an Eldrazi, if you curve into it with it that heralds the end, or you have a turn 1 Fleshraker into this, it's a 5/3 trample. It hits just as hard as Reality Smasher, maybe harder. It could reasonably give +5, +6 in a game where you draw it after you've made a few spawns. This thing is a crusher, and it completely changes how safe you could feel when you're playing against Eldrazi. Thought-Knot Seer, the unit, the 4/4 Thoughtseize, we love that. Sowing Myco-Spawn, basically just a parade of wastelands, love that. The shells are experimenting with other cool lands they could play. Look at this one of Gaia's Cradle in the deck. You make 1 or 2 spawns off Fleshraker, Gaia's Cradle suddenly taps for 4, and that could be a dope thing to tutor for with Sowing Myco-Spawn. Could end up double or triple spelling in the late game. Unlock those Null Drifters all of a sudden. Kozilek's command for 10. It could happen. Then Null Drifter draws cards early, is a monster late. Kozilek's command just does everything you need it to do. And there's 1 copy of Devourer of Destinies. That is the top end, and just a little smoothing if it happens to be in your opening hand. The last build I played had 4 of these. The last Legacy build, which felt like too many, though it also meant it came up a lot. But if you just fill your deck with good cards, you don't need to do all this filtering, because you just have fewer 7-drops you could draw when you're not ready. And a card I'm really excited to play with, Wastegate Battle Mage, in the sideboard of this build, but kicker, exile a target, artifact or enchantment, kicker, bounce a creature. These are a lot of insane words to be on a 2/2 body at a good rate in a deck that's applying this much pressure. Very excited to play with that card. That was the appeal of me picking this list. There's a lot of color requirements for an Eldrazi deck. For a colorless Eldrazi deck, we have actual colorless, which is a requirement. Green, red, and then Wastegate Battle Mage has a blue kicker. So this is kind of a 4-color deck. Cavern of Souls is great. Secluded Courtyard, great. Mox Diamond. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. I'm always suspicious of Mox Diamond in anyone with a kind of normal land count. And 26 is high for a Legacy deck, but it's not like 38 or something that a lands deck might play, or 31 that like a depths deck might play. There's no light from the loam to recoup these losses either. We really are balls to the wall with this Mox Diamond, and I will have my eye on that, though it does seem to be the best way to get 4 colors into your colorless deck. That's the breakdown. Let's do it. This is Matt's Eldrazi Aggro. Sometimes you have to tune out the noise around you to soak in that sweet BoshNRoll strategy. That's why I'm going to tell you about Raycon's everyday earbuds that just released an upgraded model with active noise cancellation. Raycon earbuds offer the same audio quality you expect from the big brands, but at half the price. In addition to the new active noise cancellation, you get Raycon's ergonomic design and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once. They're available in a variety of vibrant colors to match any style or skin tone. I chose the blue earbuds with the Ocean Wave capsule charging case. The ergonomic design comfortably fits the widest range of ears, which is something I've struggled with from other earbuds, but these ones are in tight. I'm glad they're so comfortable because with their 32-hour battery life, I'm going to have them in for a long time. I exercise or go for walks every day, and I'm always listening to music and podcasts while I do. These earbuds stay comfortably in my ears when I'm on the move. I've used other brands, but I usually end up with sore ears, and the ones that go over my ears compete with my glasses for space. These give you the best of all worlds. Click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/BoshNRoll for 15% off your purchase and free shipping. I'm on the draw in round 1. I have a turn 1 Linebreaker and turn 2 Thought-Knot-Seer. Keep. If uncontested, which always is a big if in Legacy, we're playing a powerful format. This is attack you for 4 on turn 1, Thoughtseize you, and attack you for 4, 7, 9 on turn 2. That's a lot. A mountain. Okay. I don't really like seeing a mountain if I get Blood Mooned, but I just drew my waste, so we might be able to play anyway. All right, let's break this line. Please don't have Lightning Bolt. Please have a handful of Pyroblasts. Okay, 4-3. Haste. Coming in. Yep. That was a big hit. It's turn 1. Ancient Tomb. Lotus Petal. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Okay, that's not a Blood Moon. It's not a One Ring. We're getting to work. Now I have a kind of interesting option of I could Kozilek's Command. Oh, I could actually do both. I could Kozilek's Command, exile Goblin Shaman, make 2. Yeah, drawing Eye of Ugin just made this insane. Okay, so Kozilek's Command for X equals 2 can exile the Goblin Shaman, make 2 spawns, then also cast Thought-Knot-Seer, or I could ignore the Goblin and just bash. I think I'm in just bash mode. This Kozilek's Command feels like it will do something better later if I just apply tons of pressure now. I Thought-Knot-Seer you. Ensnaring Bridge, look at you with the main deck hate. No, thank you. That makes me think this is Painter and not Red Stompy, which is great news, because we're way better against that deck. Yeah, in for 9. It's turn 2. You've been Thoughtseized and taken 15 damage. Yeah, here comes the loot. I expect to see them lose both of the cards we know about, because neither of them is helpful. Oh, they discarded Ancient Tube. They drew and discarded Ancient Tube, kept a Spirit Guide. That can at least chump block. Kind of. And they're dead. Yeah, just turn 3 on the play, hitting the concede button. Gross. Okay, Battle Mage. We saw Ensnaring Bridge right there in the main deck. Let's have answers to that ready. Dismember is good versus Painter Servant and various Goblin objects. I'm going to think about that. I don't think we really need Devourer here. We might not need the top end at all. Like, all the Null Drifters just kind of get low, get low. That's still only 4 cards out, and 6 cards I would like to have in. And the Mox Diamond is interesting because it's really bad if there's a Lotus Petal in your graveyard and a Mox Diamond in play versus a Goblin Welder strategy. They could basically just, like, Stone Ring you. But also, it's important to have critical mana to do the things I just did. I think Myco Spawn is really important. I could see shaving a Herald if I want an extra removal spell. Maybe I don't play all 3 Dismembers and I just stop here. I don't want to dilute my plan too much. I do still want to just bash. Chalice of the Void is also not bad against Painter, but I don't want it on the draw. Okay. If I keep this is turn 1 Herald. I would have to lose my Wasteland or my Cradle. I would have to lose my Cradle to do it. Or I could use Lotus Petal. Yeah, I'll keep this. I would love to draw a land that's not Wasteland or Cradle to kind of get to keep all my good cards. But that's not happening. I think I could Wasteland, Lotus Petal, play Herald, save the Cradle, not play Mox Diamond. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think this gives me the most upside. This Cradle is sick. Okay, just had Lightning Bolt this game, that's fine. And if I don't draw another land to get the Cradle rolling, I can just Mox Diamond, cast it, that Herald's #2 next turn. Magus of the Moon, okay. Well, I don't have Colorless Mana anymore. So Gaia's Cradle doesn't matter. Alright, yeah, suddenly, Mox Diamond doesn't tap for Colorless. What are my outs here? I have Dismembers in the deck. I can really only cast Sowing Myco Spawn in my whole deck. Right, Ancient Tomb, pass. Yeah, all the Dismembers need to be in. This is the thing. There's one waste. That's what I'm drawing for. Painter's Servant. That turns off all my colorless synergies. I'm currently under Blood Moon, so it doesn't matter. But the whole... Oh, I drew the waste. The whole Eldrazi thing of the cost of colorless Eldrazi you cast is reduced just doesn't work with a Painter Servant in play. So like Eldrazi Temple, Eye of Ugin, all those things. But ripping the one of waste certainly gives me some movement here. I gotta take Fury. Seeing the Phyrexian Devourer in their deck means that they play Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and that Goblin Welder is about to do exactly what I described, where it can just Stone Rain my Mox Diamond into a Lotus Petal, and turning my permanent mana source that cost me 2 cards into a temporary mana source. Not great. But they are currently scrambling to find other answers to the situation. Okay, I could play Linebreaker here, using my lands even. Don't even need Mox Diamond. And any block they would make here would cost them either Painter Servant or Magus of the Moon. Yeah, I'm getting after it. A double block doesn't kill Thought Knot. Double block kills Thought Knot. You lose everything. Double block, you lose everything. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Yeah, they're just taking the 9. There goes half their life total. If they rip a Soul Cauldron right now, they just win, because they could discard the Devourer and then start exiling their deck. But I'm pushing damage. I don't think trying to hold back with chump blockers is the solution. I'm just going to try to fade the N outer, where N is how many of those cards they play. Another Magus. Alright, they can afford to lose one of them now. And there's an attack. Another Diamond. Got a Herald that buffs the squad. Oh no, they're not colorless. It doesn't buff the squad. That's exactly what I was just saying, that it's not as good as it might be. Okay, attack with everybody. I'm just sending damage at this point. Yep, didn't I mentioned Painter Servant, didn't think about this one. Okay, they can go to 1, and they clear the Thought Knot Seer, which leaves my Trample creature behind. They do get to draw a card. But my Trample creature, 5-power Trample creature, is chilling here. Fable flips. Yeah, they would have been dead or had to block differently if Painter Servant wasn't turning off my thing, and they did find Soul Cauldron. That'll do. And that was clearly one of the 2 cards they just drew, or else it would have happened last turn. Okay, you got me. Okay, Dismember definitely coming in. I think I'm less interested in Chalice of the Void than I thought I was, knowing that they're the Soul Cauldron deck and not the traditional Painter. Myco Spawn can tutor my wastes off of Diamond or Petal. That's actually really important. Battle Mage seems really hard to play and kick, but also, if they don't have exactly Blood Moon, it's my best card. If I have my waste and Mox Diamond, I can bounce Magus of the Moon. Yeah, that's extra good. Yeah, it might be just another Herald. I don't really like undermining my curve this much, but also that is the least impactful card, especially knowing that Painter Servant just turns it off. Okay, this is a... I have a Dismember. This doesn't actually cast any spells, because Eye of Ugin doesn't generate colorless, it just reduces the cost of the card. If this was Eldrazi Temple, this would be a Snapkeep all day. But Eye of Ugin, they have their pros and cons between them. I think I have to mulligan this, it just doesn't do anything. And there's 24 lands left in my deck. Just slightly less than a 50-50 to draw one next turn. Yeah, I'm going to mulligan. Okay, here we go with the Eldrazi Temple this time. I'm going to keep this hand, just have to figure out what I'm doing with it. Fleshraker, when you cast a colorless spell, which includes Lotus Petal, okay, do I bottom Cavern or Kozilek's Command here? Kozilek's Command has a lot of good text in the matchup. Alright, I'm going to bottom the Cavern and count on Fleshraker for mana. And I don't think I need to turn one Thought-Knot Seer. Fleshraker, and then Lotus Petal basically makes 2 here because I get a spawn when I cast it. Alright, there we go. Setting up for the future. The Fleshraker also is a nice little solution to a Moon, because every spell I cast replaces itself with the mana. Okay, they've got a Fable. I might Kozilek's Command here instead of Thought-Knot Searing. Let's see what I draw. Linebreaker, okay. Ooh, can I do this for 0? Hold on. Exile target creature, mana value X or less. Exile, or target player scries X and draws a card. Okay, so I'll just scry 0 and draw a card, and exile this token for 2 mana. And this is a colorless spell, which means I get to cast Linebreaker. Oh, that's insane. Okay, yeah. Get rid of that. I draw another Fleshraker. That might be better than Linebreaker. Just invest in success here. Or wait, I need the red to cast Linebreaker. I don't need red to cast Fleshraker. Alright. I will play the Linebreaker while I have red mana available. It's also a ton of damage. They've just taken a Lightning Bolt incidentally from the Fleshraker. And this is an extra Eldrazi in play. I'm attacking for 8 here. Yeah, that's pretty gross. Okay, you're at 6. Go. Good luck with that Ancient Tomb. And if they cast, well, I was going to say Ensnaring Bridge. I don't have an out to right now, but also they have 6 cards in their hand. What are they going to do with an Ensnaring Bridge? Let's go! The turn 2 concede button. Back in the Modern Horizons 3 preview episode of the Eternal Glory podcast that I co-host, we talked about Glaring Fleshraker as potentially insane and really exciting to see what shells it goes in, and we just showcased exactly why we were excited about that. Crazy stuff. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 2, and my hand doesn't cast any spells, so I'm going to mulligan this. Ooh, this one is a turn 2 Myco Spawn. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to bottom Gaia's Cradle. Yeah, this is slower than I'd like, but I also hate mulling to 5. So I'm just going to play Ancient Tomb and Lotus Petal and pass. I can Kozilek's Command in an emergency, but if there's no emergency, I could just Myco Spawn next turn. A Polluted Delta. Island Tamiyo. I could exile Tamiyo, but it cost me my Lotus Petal, so I'm not really interested in that. Okay, Cavern on Eldrazi. And then Sowing Myco Spawn, no kicker, unfortunately. Yeah, this is probably just going to get an Eye of Ugin. Yeah, I can't wasteland them from here. I already have a Cavern in play. Eye of Ugin seems like the one. Eye of Ugin doesn't tap for mana now, which Eldrazi Temple would, but it does kind of double the mana based on how many Eldrazi I have moving forward. Okay, Brainstorm, they're going to get to flip Tamiyo here. Plus Tamiyo, so my creatures are smaller when they attack. Underground Sea, Ponder. Okay. They're setting up some engines. We'll see what I can convert in the next turn or 2. I have 6 mana for Eldrazi purposes right now. I think I just wasteland them. Start there. Just be super annoying and petty about that. And I think I do need to put pressure on Tamiyo, even though I kind of hate it. I don't want them regrowing spells, is the problem. And I am going to fire an unstep Kozilek's Command, even if they don't play a creature. I would love to exile a creature, but I would like the mana for Null Drifter. Baleful Strix. Alright. Bringing Strixie back over there. I will play around Daze. I don't know if I need to, but I'm gonna. Exile target creature and make some spawns. I make spawns, exile your creature. X is currently 2. You can't put Cavern mana into a Kozilek's command. You can, it just doesn't make it uncounterable. Oh, the Cradle. That would have been so sick if I had 2 spawns. Okay, now I have the option of trying to wait a turn, or I can cast Null Drifter for a single blue right now, and I can, with the Evoke trigger on the stack, tap Cradle for 2. Command spells to cast. Sick. Okay, 2 floating. Null Drifter goes. This is a kicked Myco spawn. I could play Mox Diamond to play around Daze. I think that's worth doing. Discard the Courtyard. 1-2. Cast Con Queso. Exile the Island, probably. Green Swamp is the removal color. Island is the cantrip color. I'll take the Island. And all of my tech lands are already in play. I get a backup Cavern in case they wasteland me. I just get Ancient Tomb and start tapping Eye of Ugin sooner. Or that's happening off Eldrazi Temple anyway. Yeah, I'll get Eldrazi Temple, and activating Eye of Ugin is going to be the way moving forward. And I don't think I want to offer this trade. This pops at 7. Yeah, I'm just going to pass. With Cradle in play, Eye of Ugin active, I'm not going to trade with a Baleful Strix. Black men in the pool. They have a Dismember. Okay. Yeah, leaving removal on while going... Alright. Suddenly picked apart and probably going to get iced by Tamiyo. I need to apply pressure in the next 2 turns. That's not it. Okay. That quickly flipped on me. I made the decision to go after their card selection mana rather than their removal mana and got punished for it. Wow, they have multiple Dismembers in the main. I guess they're just teched out for the Eldrazi metagame. Because Eye of Ugin doesn't work there. Or Eye of Ugin, what am I talking about? I'm Fatal Push doesn't work there. And yeah, the removal that I thought I had to play around in game 1 simply did not happen. And now they've drawn half their deck and have no maximum man size for the game. But they are at 8. So all those cards know where to go is what I'm hoping for. It would be super embarrassing if they lose this from here. Null Drifter is probably the best draw in my deck right now. Just cast multiple spells in a turn. Wasteland. Going after my Cavern. That makes sense. Fatal Push. Alright. Now we're dead. Opponent drew 22 cards. Baleful Strix. Unbeatable. Insane magic card. Yeah, that game, honestly, Baleful Strix won that game. Okay. So they have multiple main deck Dismembers. This looks like a good Chalice of the Void matchup, especially if I'm on the play. Devourer is kind of awkward, because it is a way to just boop Tamiyo without worrying about combat, but it also costs 7. Battle Mage can exile Baleful Strix, a card that I don't like. I could also just skip trying to prison them and attack on the ground. Though prisoning them does seem really good. Yeah, maybe Battle Mage doesn't come in here. Herald just seems like the card I'm going to board out a lot. Yeah, I'm going down on Heralds and Devourers, up on Chalices, and those are the only changes I'm going to make. Okay, turn 1, nothing. Turn 2, begin the party. I think I'll keep this. Don't love it, obviously, but we're here. I'm going to lead on Ancient Tomb and pass. That's just the one that if they wasteland me, I care the least about. Wobble. You saw my top card. Wasteland. Okay. You got me. We were prepared for this. Knew it could happen. Yavimaya. Alright. I'm gonna play... I can play Eldrazi Temple and try to high roll into Thought Knot. Or I could guarantee Linebreaker next turn. I'm gonna play the Temple and pass. Go for the high roll. This one is now actually a pretty big punish if they waste me, but if their opening hand had 2 wastelands and they waste me twice on the draw, we're basically just replaying the first 2 turns of the game multiple times. Okay, that didn't happen, and we did high roll into a Thought Knot Seer mana. Unfortunately, this fetch land does represent Fatal Push. There's the fetch in response. Consigned to memory. Yep, that was always going to get me. Incredible sideboard card that exists in all of the formats where Eldrazi are legal. Ooh, this is a nice little combination of things. Wasteland you here. Didn't even float mana. Interesting. Okay, I can play around Daze, which I don't even know if it's the card they have, but I can do it, so I will. Mox Diamond on the stack. Discard Yavimaya. And I'm still moving forward with the Thought Knots over the Linebreaker. I'd rather see what's going on in that 6-card hand before I start trying to just randomly or aggressively apply damage. This sequencing looks like Fatal Push. Underground Sea. 2 Fatal Pushes, Force of Will, Brazen Borrower. Okay, so the card I take is gone forever, and then they'll push Thought Knot Seer, and then they get a new card at random. I'm going to take Fatal Push, because I can't just leave them with answers to my next 2 threats, and my hand only has 2 threats in it. Okay, that's both pushes gone. They draw a random card. A Force of Will is a 2-for-1, and I do have a bunch of Cavern of Souls in my deck. Mycospawn doesn't care about Cavern of Souls, or it doesn't care about Force of Will on the important part of what it does. Okay. Secluded Courtyard. Name Eldrazi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sowing Mycospawn, Con Queso. Really wish that wasn't a fetch land, so I could take out all their lands. Okay, exile target land. I'll exile the Underground Sea, and I get to tutor a land. I should have stacked these the other way, so they don't have the information when it matters. We've seen basics in their deck. I think I just get a Cavern here. Cavern on Eldrazi. This kind of forces the issue on the Force of Will, because they'll never get to use it again. Yeah, Forest Pitching Force. That was just a 4-for-1. Exile your land, get a land. You spend 2 cards answering it. Undercity Sewers. They got Brazen Borrower. They kept their card on top. It's probably a land or a Brainstorm. Tamiyo's in. Ponder. Okay. It doesn't quite flip Tamiyo. They need 1 more card draw. Did not shuffle Ponder. Found a land. Didn't play another cantrip. Drawing a land here kind of stinks. This was the turn I really wanted to unload. But they don't have Brazen Borrower mana right now. And I'm definitely winning the race because their creature attacks for 0. Did they draw a Fatal Push? Come on, chill. It could be Dismember, but at least that's a bunch of damage. Okay, it is Dismember. But the shields are up here. And Tamiyo is slowly gaining card advantage. I need to apply meaningful pressure. Love a Null Drifter. That would be a great card to find. Or we could just flood out on Ancient Tombs. That's alright. This is healthy Magic Gathering gameplay, even though it currently doesn't benefit me. Blue-black opponent has a bunch of removal and counter spells in their deck, and then ways to recoup their cards, and me with my busted mana engine and creatures that do stuff even if they get countered are falling behind quickly. Alright, we found a spell. Here comes Linebreaker. Can't be countered. They would need exactly Dismember to answer this thing, but we've seen that they play multiples. But damage has connected. Opponent at 7. It's going to be really important to draw another creature this turn and keep the pressure up with Linebreaker, because we know they have Brazen Borrower. Just left their mana up, and of course, I did not draw a creature. Attack. This thing gets bounced. That's fine. I'll just replay it. I'll get this Ancient Tomb in. They're drawing first before combat. That's 2 cards drawn this turn. Fatal Push, yeah, the Clue turned that on. This deck is really cool that we're playing against. I like what they're doing. Tamiyo going coast to coast. Yeah, being a deck with 33 mana sources, this is what happens when you hit the back end. Yeah, seeing the Force of Will in their hand earlier made me get Cavern of Souls. If I had just tutored Eye of Ugin, maybe I would have taken over this game by now. There's not even a good target for this Wasteland now that I played a second Cavern. They might even just hold it in case I find Eye of Ugin. Or they can take out Cavern of Souls right now, that's fine. Legal play. Psychic Frog, basically a distilled Tamiyo that doesn't need 2 extra mana to draw the card every turn and also hits way harder. I don't think I can legally concede yet, but I want to. Wasteland your Sewers. They're attacking for 1 at the moment. They can discard cards to make it more. Backup Tamiyo discarded. Ratchet Bomb discarded. They can pop a Clue to flip Tamiyo here if they want to do that. Harbinger of the Seas. That makes it hard for me to do anything. Alright, cool. You got me. Yeah, cool deck. Just Dimir tempo. No grief, no scam, no nothing. Just Tamiyo coast to coast. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play for round 3. My hand is super slow and doesn't do anything. Gonna mulligan. This one, when does this Myco spawn show up? Turn 2? Opponent Stork Patrol says, "Hi YouTube." Everyone say hi to Stork Patrol. I'm going to keep this, and if I bottom a Lotus Petal, that is 4 mana on turn 2, and I have to kind of trust the vibes from there, I guess. Okay, it's an Eldrazi Mirror. Opponent kept 6 with the Devourer of Destiny. Well, being on the play is good here. I'm going to play Forest. Do I just pass? I think I do, because I could see the Wastelands being useful in the future, and leaving some plausible deniability that maybe this is not an Eldrazi Mirror. And they'd have to nut really hard to Thought-Knot Seer me on turn 1. If I could just Wasteland them 3 times while I'm on the play and they're on the draw, that seems like a win condition. They exiled, hit that Herald's the Unsickled Border Treatment. Uh-oh. Summoning Myco Spawn, Ancient Temple, Linebreaker. Well, that could flip the race. They get to do the thing first. I'd love to draw a land I can play or discard other than Wasteland. Like Eldrazi Temple would be a great draw. Oh, I'll take a backup Myco Spawn though. Okay, play Wasteland, discard Wasteland, play Lotus Petal. Suddenly, it's an Eldrazi Mirror. Cast Myco Spawn. I think it's better to Wasteland them than to try to cast my own spells here, even though that doesn't always feel good. Like I can just block Linebreaker now, and we settle into chill mode where my next mana source casts a Myco Spawn. There's 1 Wasteland left in my deck. Let's hope they were counting on that. Oh no. The re-Wasteland. Nobody's playing Magic. Ooh, no attack. Okay. Old. Ancient Tomb. I can definitely Myco Spawn. What do I get? Just get another Wasteland and threaten? Oh, if I Wasteland them now, then there's nothing for them to waste. Okay, yeah, that's actually sick. Wasteland you. Ancient Tomb. Respawn. Get another Wasteland. Okay, we have a plan. And I am going to attack. Okay. Here at 15. I have 5 mana to your 0. I have 6 power to your 4. You have 4 cards in hand to my 0. Not counting the Devourer of Destiny. That's not a card right now. Yeah! Myco Spawn! Battle Mage seems really good in the mirror. Bouncing shit, moving it around. Dismember seems necessary, even though I don't like it. Devourer, mid. And Thought-Knot Seer. Oh, Kozilek's Command. It's going to be really hard to get enough mana to actually exile one of the creatures, but having the Dinguses and card selection is pretty good. I don't know if this match is going to get into Null Drifter territory. If I just focus on getting low, I think that's a reasonable plan. I've been doing that every round. Maybe that's just the plan all the time. Thought-Knot Seer seems really good. I mean, once it's in play, it's hard for it to leave play. Like, there's not that many good or efficient removal spells in these decks. I wonder if you can ever mess with the mana. Like, is it ever right to cut a Mox Diamond or cut a Secluded Courtyard? I don't really need wastes in this matchup. They're not going to Blood Moon me. But then I have still 25 lands in this deck. All right, I might be playing with fire here, but I am going to cut a waste. Okay. I've got cards to cast and mana to cast them. I'm in. Being on the draw is strictly worse than being on the play, but I'm here for it. I can't not be on the draw. I will keep. Okay, off we go. They mulled to 6. Cavern of Souls. Only taps for 1, like a chump. Also means it's not a great Wasteland target, but that's okay. My hand is pretty resilient to Wasteland, and if they spend their turn Wastelanding me, then I attack them for 2, and we play that turn again, but I'm pushing damage and they're not. Ancient Tomb. Do you have the Linebreaker? The Fleshraker. Maybe worse. Okay. Thought Not Seer. See what you're cooking with over there, and also, it's a 5/5. No Painter Servant around this time. Dismember Battle Mage, Mycospawn Command. I mean, Dismember is the card in this hand that matters. Or, yeah, they need a mana, then Battle Mage and Mycospawn get really good, but Dismember got to go. And I think I'm actually okay offering Herald for Fleshraker. Yeah, they weren't going to take that trade. 2 damage in. And I actually can Kozilek's Command for 4 next turn, which I said when sideboarding it might be hard to actually kill anything, but turns out that's not even true. They put red in the pool. Okay, so they did find Linebreaker. That one's pretty good, but I am happy to exile it. That also gives them, because of the Eldrazi spawn, they end up with the ability to kick Battle Mage next turn. 6/3. Will not be interacting with this. In combat. Ooh, alright. That was a good one. Okay, so now I can Kozilek's Command for 2 and Dismember something, which is worse than Command for 4. Wait, I could do it all because the command can make creatures that then can cast Dismember. Alright, I'm going to play Eye of Ugin, and I'm going to attack for 7. If they chump with the spawn, it meaningfully sets back their mana and what they can do next turn. They might start thinking about trading Fleshraker for Herald. Okay, they did decide to do that, which is kind of a bummer, because that means I have to use my interaction in a spot that I didn't want to. Or I could just let this happen. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, yeah, take 5. And then I'm gonna exile Linebreaker and make 1/1s, or spawns, not 1/1s, 0/1s. Get rid of that. And then I can save the Dismember now. Yeah, I could Dismember the spawn and just try to get over the finish line, or I could let them cast their Battle Mage or whatever, and then replay Thought Not Seer, and just have Dismember in my hand for the future. Yeah, I should have thought that out better, because if I was gonna do that, I should have just passed. Okay, this is 5 mana. They can't kick Mycospawn, which is really important, because that would suddenly put me from 6 mana to 2. They did sack the spawn, change their mind. Okay. Okay, they're going with Mycospawn and his command and Battle Mage. Them wasting my Eye of Ugin here would actually stop my next wave, and I would be slightly behind. They could also get, or no, the bounce kicker is 2. Yeah, they can't get Temple here and Battle Mage me immediately. Okay, that's gone. That means I get to attack you down to 3, or force a chump. Yeah, I think I'd rather just keep the Dismember around. Try to force a chump. Or wait, no, you're at 3 with Ancient Tomb. No. We are dismembering this creature. Kind of puts you to 1. Okay, yeah, they're just dead at that point. Okay. Yeah. If this was Eldrazi Temple, I think I would have just held the Dismember, but it was Ancient Tomb, and that is real damage. They basically get 1 spell for the rest of the game. And my hand's bad. Like, maybe their 1 spell would have been enough, but they can't know that. On to the next round. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the draw in round 4. My hand has 2, 3, 4 mana in it. I'm going to keep. Yeah, this is a turn 1 Sowing Mycospawn or Glaring Fleshraker plus additional triggers. We got a great furnace in the chat. Vexing Ball. Oh no! Wow. That card seems like mid against me, but on any turn except right now. Alright. Let's see if I can wasteland my opponent enough times to convince them to sack that. Oh yeah. Let's just zero flood me. Make it rain. Okay. I'm gonna play a wasteland and pass. I can just cast my Eldrazi normal, and once I get Glaring Fleshraker into play, I can spam my zeros into the bauble and at least get something out of them. That's when you cast a colorless spell. There we go. Got him! Oh, yeah. Okay. Set me free. Eldrazi Temple. How do I want to do this? I have 3, 4, 5 mana. I think I want to start with Fleshraker and get the max out of this situation. Lotus Petal. Let my people go. Lotus Petal. Mox Diamond. Thingy again. And I can still Sowing Mycospawn here. Can I Herald? All right, and Mycospawn. 1, 2, Herald makes a Dingus. I can Herald and Mycospawn, but I have to discard Mox Diamond to do it. Or I could just play Herald and Conqueso the Mycospawn next turn. And my opponent just missed a land drop. That sounds way better. Okay. White, colorless, Herald. Now these creatures are all larger. Yeah, I'm going to save the Mycospawn for exiling their 1 mountain this game. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, if you just wait out that bauble, it eventually goes away. Okay, this is some sort of Painter-esque Soul Cauldron artifact red cards deck with Great Furnace in it. I think I want my Battlescape or Wastescape Battle Mages. Battlescape Waste Mages. And once again, Herald looks like the chop and Devourer of Destiny. I think I am fine with this. I could bring some Dismembers in because it smells like Painter a little bit. Yeah, okay. I actually do want my Dismembers in. Alright, shave down to 1/7 and 1/2. I have a Herald, and I have the ability to exile a token and draw 1 card. I also have Dismember, and my deck has 30-something mana sources in it. I'm actually going to keep this. It's risky, and I'm sure Thraben Yu is rolling in his grave, looking at me keeping a medium 7. I know he likes to leverage his mulligan extremely aggressively in decks where your mulligan is the first big choice you get to make. But I don't like mulliganing. I'm off it. We keep these. At the Pro Tour, I would mulligan this. I'm just saying. I am stress testing for science. Either that or high rolling in a low stakes environment. However you want to interpret that. My opponent has mull to 4. That's good for me. Land off the top. See, Magic's easy. What are you all worried about? Play the one of it that heralds the end. The only one in my deck. Have it on turn 1, where I would have no other plays available. I would not be surprised to see a Surveil land here. Yeah, just to get literally anything going on. Try to bounce back from this mull to 4. They found something they like. I can dismember a Magus of the Moon if they have that. Painter. Okay. I actually do have to kill that because my spells are not castable right now. Mox Diamond does not change anything for me. Mox Diamond turns on Mycospawn, but, like, not unless I draw another mana source. Yeah, I think I'd rather let Kozilek's Command do the talking here. I've got a Dismember for this jerk. Turn my cards back on. Attack you for 2. And there's a fetch, land number 3. Blood Moon, okay. I can float. Nope, I can't. What do I do here? I can draw a card. Yeah, alright. Cast this, target player scries X, draws a card, and target player makes X spawns, which is 0. Okay, just cantrip on my way through here. I do need this Mox Diamond, and we did unlock it. If I draw another land, I can Mycospawn. See, Magic's easy. Wasteland, Mox Diamond, discard the Temple, play Mycospawn. And the cycle actually was essential there. I'm going to get Waste. My one of basic land. That's why it's there. Thought Not Seer's back online. Opponent's hand was actually really good for 4 cards. They paintered me into Blood Moon. Those are 2 functional hate pieces versus my deck. Been in Ensnaring Bridge. I have some outs to that. Not accessible right now, but they do exist. I can kick Sowing Mycospawn, which exiles their Great Furnace, and then they need to find an artifact. That's actually the nuts. Okay, Mycospawn, Con Queso, exile the Great Furnace before they can flip it into an Ensnaring Bridge. And I'm going to tutor for probably just Forest. Okay, smash. We got to draw an artifact now to get the Ensnaring Bridge into play, and then we actually just hold for a while. Yeah! Keeping a +7 and beating up somebody who mulled to 4. Though it was a really good 4. Painter, Blood Moon, Ensnaring Bridge, boom, boom, boom. Had to fend off all of those things. Feeling good. Let's go. On to the final round.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the draw in the final round. Positive record is locked. Playing for the bread and butter 4-1. I have a turn 1 Linebreaker. Or I could Herald on 1 and curve out, depending on what my opponent shows me here. A Volcanic Island, and a Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay, how do I want to do this? I could play It That Heralds the End around Daze, and then next turn play Linebreaker around Daze, and then waste them. I could just shove Linebreaker into Daze. I think I want to Herald. Opponent just asked if I'm the real one. I hope so. As far as I know, he is him. Herald is in. I would be disappointed to see Psychic Frog here. That is a big old monstrous creature, bigger than all my Eldrazi. Oh no, black mana in the pool. Oh, black-red. I'm totally fine with a Molten Collapse. In fact, I encourage Molten Collapse. We did it. Couldn't they have killed Lotus Petal too? Oh no, they fetched last turn, and then they just played. Okay, yeah, alright. Unfortunate. Wasted the Festiland. Okay, good for me, but I was playing around Daze, but playing around 2 mana removal on my 2 mana creature that I spent tapped 1 land to cast is also a good deal. They get to attack for 1. I am Ancient Tombing on the draw against Delver, which is always a spot that I am nervous to be in. I played Grixis Delver versus Eldrazi last week. Oh, they had a Mishra's Bauble? They could have killed my Lotus Petal. Lessons learned. I played this matchup from the other side on the channel like a week and a half ago, I think, by the time this will come out. And I beat them because they had a bunch of cool Eldrazi in play, but I had a 3-power flyer, and they their life total ran out, while they had a much cooler board than I did. Okay. I'm going to play Schwaceland, and I'm going to break the line. Okay, we're in there. Give myself big hasties. I have to consider here whether trying to waste them off a color versus trying to cast my spells is better, and I really don't want to play against Psychic Frog. Lightning Bolt kills this Linebreaker no matter what. Red is more plentiful in their deck than black, I think. Like, if I waste them and they Wasteland Lightning Bolt, I am dead. But is having Wasteland in play even useful instead? Alright, I'm taking out the Volcanic Island to try to cut off Lightning Bolt. The removal is all red. Psychic Frog is black. And casting Psychic Frog would have been better than casting Molten Collapse last turn. So I don't think they have it, but they have drawn 2 cards since they made that decision, so might have it now. That's what I'm worried about. All right. So that whole conversation didn't matter. They just had saying it didn't matter. It amounted to nothing, but it did matter. They do just have another mana here. They can cast Murktide. It's a 4/4, which is still pretty big. Okay, Ponder is not Psychic Frog or Murktide Regent. It could be Lightning Bolt, though. It's also not Delirium, because Molten Collapse is already a sorcery. We've been to Force of Will. That's a Force of Will they don't have. I like that, but I don't like they have Delirium. I would rather be the Grixis Delver side of this matchup, just abstractly. And not just my personal preferences. I think they are well constructed to punish the weaknesses of the Eldrazi deck. Evasive Clock, Wasteland, Reach in the form of Lightning Bolt. All that stuff matters. Did not shuffle Ponder. Another Channeler. Okay. And a Bauble. Just looking at their whole deck here. This is Vampiric Tutor. Well, I get to draw a card. This is Demonic Tutor. Kept the card on top, so they already liked what they saw. And it's the card that they saw of Ponder, so a whole Ponder's worth of good cards over there. Basic Forest. I don't hate that existing. I'm going to play Herald, which makes Linebreaker big enough to attack through the thing. I'm going to buff the Herald up to 4/2. And these are good attacks. Though I am still behind because I lost the die roll. Otherwise, this would just be a pretty even slugfest. But I am behind versus their creatures. They can attack me to 4, which means if I tap my Ancient Tomb again, I am in bolt range. They can also Wasteland my Ancient Tomb and cast literally anything, and then I lose. If their hand is 3 blank cards, though, if they just don't matter at all, or it's just counterspells or more lands or something, I am winning right now because they have to attack with DRC, and then I get to kill them on the backswing. Lightning Bolt, that is really good. Kept their cards again. Yeah, they kept off of the Ponder and Double Surveil, so we knew at least one of the cards in their hand was good. Yeah, I go to 4. I can attack them back to 2. Uh-oh, they did not Wasteland me. Alright, hope this resolves. This is literally everything. I'm at 2. Something's happening. Orcish Bowmaster puts me to 1. Yeah, I can't trample over for enough. Yep, that'll work. That explains why I didn't get Wastelanded, because they had the mana to do something else with. Linebreaker itself does have trample, but it doesn't grant trample to the creature it targets. Exile a Delver, and then 5. Yeah, still not good enough. An attack with all creatures. I'll give them the opportunity to make a mistake. They did not make a mistake. Alright, they literally can't mess up from here because their creatures have to attack. Okay. I'm on the play, so Chalice of the Void. I like Battle Mage. I don't think I like Dismember. It's just a lot more damage when I'm already taking a bunch of damage. Once again, the big stuff and the small stuff. Though Null Drift or Flying does kind of matter here, but Kozilek's Command, and they're a Wasteland deck with a fast clock. Yeah, I'm just cutting the big stuff, bringing in some small stuff, which I have done literally every round. That's mostly because I didn't queue into a control deck. That doesn't necessarily mean the deck is constructed incorrectly. On the play, very slow start. Slow but steady. I actually am going to keep this. It doesn't get the crap wastelanded out from under it. It can send a wasteland back. It has Battle Mage and mana to kick it. Turn 1 Delver. You got it. Bobble. Looking at my top card. Yeah, I drew another Myco Spawn. I could play Courtyard now. I really don't want that to get wastelanded, but I have to play Eye or Courtyard now in order to Myco Spawn next turn. I will play Courtyard. Risk it for the biscuit. And the biscuit is happening regardless. And if they wasteland me here, I could draw a card off Kozilek's Command, which I can't do if I play Eye of Ugin, because you do need 2 actual colorless mana. And Eye of Ugin's reduction doesn't make this free. Sad. I don't think I am actually going to cycle the Kozilek's Command, though. Is removing Delver matters? Does that matter more than casting spells? I am going to cycle this. I've boarded in a bunch of stuff. I need to cast spells. I changed my mind. Okay, here we go. Draw 1 card, do nothing else. This is not a very powerful effect. Found Ancient Tomb, though. That is one of the cards that could jump me back into the game. It is also a card that would have cast Kozilek's Command in a way that kills Delver. Another Myco Spawn. I have so many of these at this point. I could play Battle Mage just to get on board. I have a bunch of stuff happening at 4 mana once we get there. I'm going to play out Eye of Ugin and not play Battle Mage. They just pondered, so Delver's probably going to flip. There he goes, Molten Collapse revealed. The second Wasteland! We could barely play through the first. And this is exactly the play pattern. And I could have mulliganed to be a little more aggressive, but I mulliganed to be resilient versus this. And while I have continued to hit my land drops, I am getting poked by this Delver with Ancient Tomb in my hand. Another one. Okay, pass the turn. Gotta rip a Cavern of Souls here and not get wastelanded a 3rd time. The 3rd Wasteland! Ah! Imagine getting to register 8 of those. My opponent paid for Moto Premium. in all seriousness, no, this is just a perfect summation of the matchup. I even drew the card I wanted. That's literally the card I said I need to draw to be in this game. And I will try to stabilize next turn. I'm at 8 already. They're going to hit me for 3, and I'm going to have to tap Ancient Tomb just to cast Battle Mage. Didn't have the 4th Wasteland. Forgot to re-up their Moto Premium subscription. What the follow-up here is going to matter a lot. Like, if their hand is just a bunch of removal spells, I might be able to make a game out of this. Cavern on Eldrazi. Battle Mage with the Bounce Kicker. Okay, bounce the Delver. I go to 8. I can kick Sowing Mycospawn next turn. If this tomb was Eldrazi Temple, I'd actually feel good about the game, but instead, like, the limit's already there. I can only tap this 3 more times this game, and only twice if I don't want to die to Lightning Bolt. Sowing Mycospawn does not have reach, although most Eldrazi in the MH3 do, inexplicably. Tends to be the blue ones, which is extra weird. Oh, Bowmaster. Alright, I have even fewer moments left in this game than I thought. Yeah, that 3rd Wasteland, if everything that happens from here on out just happened a turn sooner, I think it would have been competitive. But the 1st Wasteland hurt, the 2nd one was devastating, the 3rd one was just like, LOL, I get it. And here they can Molten Collapse and replay Delver, attack me for 2. Didn't do that, though. Held up 3 mana instead. Interesting. What are we doing with all that? All I can really do is sow my Mycospawns. Okay, this Conqueso. Exile the Volcanic Island. And I don't think I want Gaia's Cradle. I think I need to Wasteland my way out of this. Okay, Wasteland, the Underground Sea. All of this with Mycospawn on this deck, which is probably worse than letting it resolve, because they could have dazed this, even though it doesn't get countered to save their land. I was just goofing, and it was not a good goof. Attack for 2. I'm on the offensive now. Yeah, they go to 18. They're like, yeah, that's fine. So didn't Molten Collapse, didn't Delver. Left up 3 mana, didn't float, didn't cast a spell. Looks like I'm just getting bolted out, and it doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, good games. A positive record with Aggro Eldrazi, losing to the decks that could apply pressure and use Wasteland together, the 2 tempo decks, and then we beat the other stuff that was happening. Asking this deck to produce 4 different types of colored mana is kind of a stretch, but it hurt a little bit, but was also fine a lot of the time. I think the juice is worth the squeeze compared to just a mono green version. The Null Drifter was really good the one time it came up. Linebreaker was a hero the whole league. Fleshraker really the MVP, though. This card was awesome. And Kozilek's Command continues to impress. I think this was a great showcase of the deck. We showed when things go well and when things go wrong, and when you can make cool decisions to wiggle out of challenging positions, and when you just get Wastelanded twice and Lightning Bolted once and then you lose. I think that in the wake of whatever happens in August with the bannings, everyone thinks it's going to be Grief. It might be Entomb or Reanimate. Just something to break up that package is going to go. And I think that Eldrazi and Grixis Delver are both waiting in the wings to be near the top of the format afterwards. So understanding how that matchup plays out and how both of these decks work is going to be important. Matt, thank you for the opportunity to showcase this deck. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.